Oh, hey parents, Jackie here, kids pastor at Vineyard Boise. I'm going to start doing these updates, probably one every few weeks, just to let you know what we are doing in kids. Because if you just watch our episodes, you might think, what Bible stories are they doing in kids? Because there's not a lot of Bible happening in the episodes. However, if you ask your child, any of our children in our kids ministry, they will know that a parable is a story that ties to the Bible to give it deeper meaning. So we all know that Jesus taught in parables, and these parables had nothing to do with the Bible per se. However, they all were things that they could relate to that really had the Bible become alive in their lives. So right now we're doing a review of our Saints series, which is slated to end around Easter time. So we're going to continue to do Saints through about the middle end of April. However, we have a couple of characters in there that are really important. So we have Peter and Sylvie. Sylvie is a secret agent, and what she does is she protects children, because we all know that God did a great job making you. That is a really big phrase we use in our kids ministry, that God did a great job making you. And so she knows there's greatness on the inside of every child, and so she protects children. Well, her abilities got zapped away and put towards a guy named Peter, who really wants to be a secret agent, but he's just one of those guys. He works at it's called Hero Planet. It's like the place by Roaring Springs, the arcade place, Wahoo's. He works at Wahoo's, kind of, and he gets her abilities, and so they're kind of in partnership together. So as they go along their journey, we spend about 4 or 5 weeks going through Bible stories that tie to whatever is happening in this little adventure. Now, in kids ministry, I always want to be very engaging with children so that they are going to have a great time in kids ministry. We always pray that kids are going to drag their families to church because of how exciting our kids ministry is and all that they're learning. And we also want to have a good balance of having it exciting, but then also giving it a lot of depth and making sure that they're leaving with a Bible story. So if you want to continue on at home, we will give you a parent guide at Exit on elementary or a pre-K, wherever your kids are at. We're going to give you a parent guide. Now, with our elementary kids, we actually pay them VB Kids bucks. And this Sunday is the 4th Sunday, so they're going to actually have a store. We pay them to do their quiet times every day. We even have a quiet time calendar every month that gives them ideas of scriptures they can read that'll go along with what we're doing in church. However, we just encourage them to dig into these Bible stories at home. So this week we are talking about Moses. We're doing a little review in January because we took so much time in December off because of our Christmas play and different things. So we have a phrase here because it is a spy series, and so there is a little bit of combat. Now, there's never anything crazy. They use like really fun things like fidget spinners and stickers that they put on the bad guys' foreheads to make them go to sleep, that kind of thing. There's never really any crazy combat, but we have a phrase that we say that is, we don't fight with fists, we fight with prayer, because there are different things. Like if you say that to any of my elementary kids, I promise you they will finish that sentence. We don't fight with fists, we fight with prayer. And we know that as adults, there are times in life where we have to fight in the spirit. There is no doubt about it. We live in a very fallen, dark world that sometimes we have to get after it. And so my goal and my prayer for our kids is that they will learn beyond a shadow of a doubt that they have to fight in the spirit for all God has called them to war for. So we're not teaching them to fight with our fists, I promise you. We are teaching them to fight in the spirit. So this week we are heading into the story of Moses. Now we're doing a little review. The weeks previous to the one we're jumping into, we talked about the plagues, but this week specifically, the big idea is God always makes a way. And so this big idea starts in ages 2 and goes all the way through 5th grade. And your child, that's the first thing I ask my own personal children when I get in the car. What was the big idea? Your child should be able to tell you the big idea every week. If they can't, it'll be on a little handout that they got so you could do a little refresher with them. But God always makes a way. So this week we're learning about how Moses led those millions of Israelites across the Red Sea and how it looks impossible in life, but how there are so many impossibilities in that story. Think about all the plagues and all the Pharaoh saying no time after time after time. However, God still made a way. And then they get to the Red Sea, and all of the people were coming after them, Egyptians, and they were like, okay, God, you led us out. And then what? For them to kill us or take us back or whatever by the Red Sea? God parted the Red Sea. They were still coming after them. They got to the other side, and then God closed the Red Sea over the Egyptians, and so that they were able to be free. Now, in my 5th grade life group the other day, one of the kids said, why is it, and we weren't even on this, it's the Bible story, but he was kind of going back to this one because we did spend about 4 or 5 weeks on it this summer. Why is it that God would do so much in these Israelites' life, and he would do all the things and lead them to the Red Sea and then part the Red Sea and then kill all the bad guys and all of the things, yet they still complained? And I said, isn't that interesting how human nature works? But let's not be those kinds of people. Let's remember all God has done in our lives. So this week, I really want you to talk to your kids about impossible situations. Impossible situations for them might look different than impossible situations for you and me, but talk to them about what are some impossible situations in your life right now that you feel like that can never be remedied, because God always makes a way. Because red balloons in our series always represent the traps of the enemy. So whenever you see a red balloon, you know that that's what that means. It's all over our stage. And the traps of the enemy in this story are complaining, panic, fear, and blaming. I'm gonna say that one more time. Panic, fear, blaming, and complaining. Those are all traps. So when things look impossible, those are the things our human nature naturally wants to do. We want to panic, we want to fear, we want to blame, and we want to complain. We want to say, God, how is it that, just like the Israelites, how is it you've brought us this far only to leave us? How is it that you've brought us across the Red Sea only to let us starve? However, that is not what God wants us to do. God wants us to look to him and say, God always makes a way. God, I don't see really how I'm going to get through this. I don't really see how you're going to provide for me in this. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you take care of your children and that you always make a way. So those are the dialogues I want you to have with your kids this week. Let's talk about what happened with Moses. Let's talk about how God always made a way, even when it looked impossible with him. And then now let's talk about our family and how God always makes away. My prayer for our children every single week is that they learn how to worship, they learn how to pray, they learn how to hear the voice of God, and that their faith is bigger than a mustard seed and anything that we have ever seen before. We have a generation that we are rising up to do greater things than we have ever seen. God bless you so much. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's get our kids in church this week. I can't wait to see them this Sunday, 10 a.m. at the Vineyard.